गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन, नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल, आदाब हमारे सभी दर्शकों को एट मदरहुड क्लब। दिस इज एकता सहगल मल्होत्रा, फाउंडर एंड चीफ स्ट्रेटजी ऑफिसर एट मदरहुड क्लब. Continuing our health series because health is wealth. And I also say wealth is health. So it is important that we pay attention to our health and understand various aspects of our health. One very important aspect of a woman's life is when after marriage she gets pregnant and is on the way to have a family, bring in a new life into this world. A very happy moment, but along with that happiness comes a lot of do's and don'ts, ifs and buts, a lot of myths, a lot of facts, and I am sure each one of you who's watching us, who will watch us, have experienced this, including myself. ये myths क्या हैं, ये facts क्या हैं, शायद थोड़ा मुझे पता है, लेकिन बहुत कुछ आज हम जानेंगे डॉक्टर विजया मेहता से, practicing obstetrician and gynecologist from Baroda with over 3 decades of experience. हम उनको पहले भी सुन चुके हैं, जहाँ उन्होंने हमें menstrual well-being, menopause के बारे में बताया था कि how each one of us can take care when we go through those phases of our life, which are so important. So very warm welcome, Dr. Vijaya. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great coming back here once again to the Motherhood Club. I am good, Ekta. How are you? I hope everything is
All
fine.
good. Absolutely great. And thank you so much for devoting time from your busy schedule and talking to us on such important matters, which I think many a times we take it for granted. And at the same time, women generally just shy away from taking care of their health, and we are so concerned and bothered about taking care about our family. But I think the only time where women's health becomes priority or is being taken care is when she is going to bring in a new life. She's made to feel like a queen, or whatever you may want to call. She's like felt special and so much is done for her. But many a times it's overdone also than what is really required. So I'd like to hear a little bit, before I could ask you some questions that have come to my mind, that why do these myths exist? What kind of myths exist? And what actually is fact? And how can we overcome these myths that people have in their head?
Definitely. Ekta, I agree. I mean, this is what I tell my patients that this is the only time in your life that the entire family's attention is focused on you. So you bask in the attention, enjoy it. I don't think it will come back again unless you conceive again. So, as you said, pregnancy is a very important and it's a very happy and exciting moment in any woman's life. Unfortunately, there are so many myths and wrong ideas which are associated with it, and it has been propagated over the time uh, from one generation to another. And unfortunately, this is all done by women. So uh, these myths then gradually they take the form of they are elevated to the status of tradition. सो इतना रेजिस्टेंस आता है कि नहीं ये तो हमारे रिवाज है, हमारी फैमिली का ये रिवाज है और यही होता है, मेरे मदर ने किया है, उनके मदर ने किया है. सो दे और दूसरा जो है हमारे इंडियन मेंटालिटी के बुजुर्गों जो कहते हैं दैट यू हैव टू फॉलो कि दे नो द बेस्ट. तो लाइक दैट वो प्रोपगेट होता जाता है एंड देयर इज नो एंड टू इट. सो इन माय कंसल्टिंग इतने सारे मिथ्स आई एनकाउंटर इवन ओवर द पास्ट 30 years. स्टिल ऐसा नहीं कि कम हो गया. ऑफ कोर्स वीमेन थोड़े अवेयर हो गए हैं. सम ऑफ देम अभी क्वेश्चंस करने लगते हैं कि ऐसा करना चाहिए, मुझे ऐसा प्रेशर आ रहा है, शुड आई डू दिस और नॉट. और बिलीव मी प्रेशर इतना आता है कि इवन डॉक्टर्स फील द प्रेशर. डॉक्टर्स को भी नहीं छोड़ते कि नहीं दिस इज वी नो द बेस्ट, हमारा एक्सपीरियंस है, दैट्स व्हाट द एल्डर्स से. तो काफ़ी मिस इंफॉर्मेशन मिसलीड हो जाते हैं कई बार.
राइट, एब्सोल्युटली. एंड आई थिंक सभी इस चीज को एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं, चाहे वो शहर में रहते हो या गांव में रहते हो. और मुझे लगता है वो जो खुशी होती है उसको लोग इतना संभाले नहीं संभलते वाला हिसाब होता है कि उनको लगता है कि सब कुछ दे दीजिए तो डॉक्टर विजया, एक ना बहुत कॉमन मिथ सुनते हैं, अब मिथ है कि फैक्ट है, या आप बताएंगे कि आप प्रेग्नेंट हैं तो आपको एक के लिए नहीं बल्कि 2 जनों के लिए खाना खाना है। तो विद द रिजल्ट खाना ही खिलाया जाता है। तो क्या है, व्हाट इज द एक्चुअल थिंग ओवर हियर?
That is totally wrong. Uh, you can't eat for two people. That is definitely not there. हाँ, कैलोरिक इंटेक बढ़ता है, बट दैट डजंट इंक्रीज इन द इनिशियल पार्ट. Towards the later part of pregnancy, around 500 to 700 calories requirement बढ़ता है. So definitely double तो नहीं है. Even 1.5 times भी नहीं होता है. If you see the total caloric intake per day. So अमाउंट टू बी ईटन वो तो टोटली रॉन्ग है. बट व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ डाइट, इतने मैक्सिमम मिथ्स आर एसोसिएटेड विद डाइट. मैक्सिमम टैबूज हैं, वो सभी डाइट, प्रेगनेंसी डाइट के रिलेटेड ही मैक्सिमम होता है. द मोस्ट कॉमन थिंग दैट आई फील इज पीपल जो नॉन वेज है, नॉन वेजिटेरियन खा रहे हैं, सडनली दे उनको माइंड में डाउट आता है कि अभी मैं हम नॉन वेज खा सकते हैं, नहीं खा सकते, क्योंकि गर्म होता है. एक गरम और ठंडा का जो आइडिया है, तो दैट बहुत ही प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट करते हैं, बिकॉज थिंग्स जो अच्छा है, न्यूट्रिशियस है, वो नहीं खाने देते बिकॉज वो गर्म हो जाता है सडनली. एंड देन द सेम थिंग्स वो लोग टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी देते हैं कि लेबर एक्सेलरेट होगा. सो इतने सारे इसमें मिथ्स होते हैं. सो नॉन वेजिटेरियन, इफ यू आर यूज्ड टू अ नॉन वेज फूड, योर बॉडी इज यूज्ड टू इट, देन देयर इज नथिंग लाइक इट. इतना आपको न्यूट्रिशन, प्रोटीन्स, अदर मिनरल्स, न्यूट्रिएंट्स, विटामिन्स जो मिलते हैं, सो यू शुड कंटिन्यू टेकिंग नॉन वेज. अदर स्पेक्ट्रम में सडनली they have seen some people, especially some husbands, of course with good intention, forcing their wives to have eggs. The person जिसको eggs अच्छा ही नहीं लगता है, तो suddenly they tell them it is good for your health, so you should have it. So that is also not needed. So if vegetarian ho, to please continue being that. If you are a non-vegetarian, please continue uh, being a non-vegetarian. So this is about the type of food that they have. And then
So there is
the
a
other, sorry, yeah.
नहीं, आप प्लीज कंटिन्यू, आई विल आस्क यू द क्वेश्चन.
So जैसे गरम ठंडा बोल रही थी, so many fruits they ask you to avoid. Saying papaya is उससे abortion हो जाएगा, उससे डिलीवरी जल्दी हो जाएगा, ब्लीडिंग स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. पाइनएप्पल्स नहीं खाना है. खजूर जो डेट्स है वो नहीं खाने देते. इट्स अ वेरी रिच गुड सोर्स ऑफ आयरन. अंजीर है, फिग्स, उसमें पोटेशियम भी बहुत मिलता है आपको. एंड गुड जैगरी, विच इज़ अ आई थिंक द बेस्ट सोर्स ऑफ आयरन फॉर वेजिटेरियंस इज जैगरी. तो वो भी अवॉइड करना है, क्योंकि कहते हैं कि नहीं तो गर्म पड़ता है. So there is nothing like having jaggery and chane. So you get proteins and iron combination. So that is the best snack you can have in between during pregnancy. So these are some of the dietary taboos. And some beliefs होते हैं. People are suddenly they ask me कि हम केसर वाला दूध पी सकते हैं. So my question is, आपको क्यों पीना है? You like it, then you drink it. She's saying नहीं, बच्चा fair आता है. How can बच्चा become fair? Then another is coconut water पीना है. Why coconut water? They say the hair will become very long and silky and quality of hair of the baby. So how is that? So ऐसे सब बहुत मिस. So even if she is not able to, for some people coconut water से gaseous distension होता है. So she is forced to have it because बच्चे के hair is good. So there are so many such dietary taboos जो इसमें related होता है. And
So there
as you
are, in
say,
fact, आप मिल्क की बात कर रहे हैं, केसर मिल्क की. So there is a question or a myth that has been put here that कि दूध में डालकर देसी घी खाना चाहिए, इससे बेबी की डिलीवरी इजीली हो जाती है. यू नो, योर लुब्रिकेशन ऑफ द बॉडी हैपेंस देसी घी से. तो घी भर भर के खिलाया जाता है. तो व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दैट?
आई फील कि किसी को है ना बहुत एक हाईली इमेजिनेटिव ये होगा, उनको लगा कि जैसे पेट में बच्चा है, घी डालो इट विल जस्ट स्लिप ऑफ. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट डेफिनेटली. सो आई थिंक समवन मस्ट हैव इमेजिन्ड इट लाइक दैट, और इसी तरह चल रहा है. सी नाउअडेज पीपल प्रेफर घी ओवर ऑयल. So like that you can have. Just a diet may instead of using oil, you use ghee, that is fine. But extra ghee is just going to add to your fat and calories intake, and it's not going to
Absolutely.
help you out. So
Absolutely. So, talking about milk, talking about nariyal paneer that you said, I have also heard that if you have all the things which are white in color, then the baby becomes fairer, राइट एंड सो आप कोकोनट खाइए, आप दूध पीजिए या और भी जो भी सफेद रंग की चीजें होती हैं, उससे जो है वो बेबी फेयर हो जाता है. दैट्स अनदर मिथ. अनदर थिंग दैट आई हैव. सॉरी, हाँ जी.
there's that obsession for white skin. अपने यहाँ so people would avoid drinking tea and coffee, saying that काला आएगा बच्चा, like that. Of course, ज़्यादा कैफीन नहीं लेना है, but जो जितना minimum आप ले सकते हो, you can have it. It's not going to harm you. So,
So
sorry.
similarly, yeah. So what I also want to ask you that a lot of people, as you said, that you're forced to eat certain thing because of XYZ reason. It could be a myth, or sometimes people feel that suddenly to become a non-vegetarian, you might get higher protein intake and so on and so forth. Also, I want to understand whether that's a fact or a myth that do you actually have those kind of excessive craving for different kind of food items while you are pregnant, or is it overly hyped in the movies and everything, or is it generally that happens, and if it happens, why does that happen?
See, it has been seen that it happens. Uh, it is not hyped or something, but ऐसा नहीं कि खट्टा ही खाना है. Like I have seen in many patients that things that they never liked before, they suddenly start eating. So जो पहले बिल्कुल they used to detest उसके लिए craving होने लगता है. And I myself have experienced that, gone through that, but there is no reason. There's no scientific reason why this is happening. But see, the hormones are going to affect your mind, your mood, everything it's going to affect. So naturally, this must be part of it. कि इस तरह से affect होता है. Second thing I wanted to say about milk is एक दूसरा pressure आता है कि दूध तो पीती नहीं है, like. So pregnancy, as you said, craving होता है, तो certain things really put you off. तो जो milk नहीं पीना है तो नहीं पीना, you can't force them to have. So you switch to an alternative, milk in any other form, right? दही दे दो उनको, पनीर दे दो. So make some item out of this and give them. So like that you have to be थोड़ा innovative. Okay, इसमें करना है. Like some people they are not able to eat roti, wheat, chapati, roti या paratha or anything. So then I tell them make it in a different form and give them. Dalia करके ले लो, do something else so that that goes inside. So many times I have to give them recipes also. So what to eat and what to make. So and another myth जो है कि प्रोटीन खाना चाहिए. So suddenly they start eating healthy. तो स्प्राउट्स करने लगते हैं वेजिटेरियंस में. So उसको मन ही नहीं हो रहा है खाने, and then you give sprouts, suddenly healthy food खिलाओ उसको. And if she is used to having some pizza or something, of course once a week or once in 2 weeks, that is strictly no, not allowed. So ऐसे सब restrictions आने लगते हैं. Then बोलते हैं कि weight gain नहीं होता है. So how will if you don't give them what they want, what they like, तो नहीं होगा. So ये सब restrictions की भी ज़रूरत नहीं है. Another
Correct.
concern is कि weight first 3 months they don't gain weight. तो द मोमेंट वो प्रेग्नेंट होते हैं दे स्टार्ट मेजरिंग देयर वेट कि मैडम वजन नहीं बढ़ रहा है. सो फर्स्ट 3 मंथ्स तक कभी कभी वेट लॉस भी होता है. दैट इज वेरी कॉमन. 1 kilo or 2 kilos you tend to lose weight because you are vomiting, nausea, you're not able to eat. And then the weight gain starts. So first 3 months we always tell them कि जो खाना है उसको खाने दो. Don't force her, don't pressurize her. Whatever remains in her body, let it take that. So,
करेक्ट, एब्सोल्युटली. So, Dr. Vijay, ये तो बात होगी about the dietary myth that people have in their head. There is another very strong. Now, I don't know whether that can be called as a myth, or it is just a way of demeaning the woman. A lot of people say that women who are short in height cannot bear a child or will have lot of complications when she would go for delivery because she is short. How relevant is this?
Height has no relation in bearing children. Conception or height का कोई relation नहीं है. But it is only again not any complications during pregnancy because of her height. But delivery can sometimes prove to be not a normal delivery because वो भी if it is below 5 feet, sometimes क्या होता है कि their entire bone structure along with the height bone structure is also narrow. So if your pelvis is wide, then that is okay. But mostly it is associated with a narrow pelvis. So then cesarean, they end up in cesarean. Apart from that, there is no other complications that हमको लगता है कि नहीं short women में होगा. So that is totally not there. This is something new that I have heard. Maybe गुजरात में बहुत सारे short women हैं. So
Right.
this idea
And
is not there.
I don't mean short as in they are midgets. They are people like, 4'11", 5'1", which would be below the average of an average Indian woman's height. So those kind of allegations, if I may use that word, are also, in a very demeaning manner put across to the lady that you're short, and hence you will not be able to bear a child. So
Not at all.
talking, not at all. So talking about the physical health, since we're talking about the height over here, many people stop exercising, stop doing a lot of regular activities that they do. Oh, I'm pregnant, so I can't climb stairs, or I cannot go for my walk. I just need to rest and sit down. How important is it to exercise during your pregnancy? And when is the time that you shouldn't indulge in it? There are many misconceptions around this also.
So very true. See, first thing हमको याद रखना है कि pregnancy is not a disease, right? It's a physiological change जो तुम्हारे body में हो रहा है. So along with that थोड़ा हमें alteration करना है. ऐसा नहीं कि drastic कुछ changes लाना है. Exercise, see, initial 3 months, what we usually advise is जो तुम्हारा रूटीन है प्लीज डोंट स्टॉप द रूटीन. जो कर रहे हो इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर अ जॉब कंटिन्यू डूइंग दैट बट गो अ बिट स्लो इन द सेंस जैसे आदत होती है कि लाइक वीमेन यूजुअली फिनिश देयर वर्क एट वन गो एंड देन बैठ जाते हैं रेस्ट करने. इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट टेक सम ब्रेक्स इन बिटवीन एंड देन कंटिन्यू डूइंग योर वर्क. तो देयर आर टू एक्सट्रीम्स. ऐसे होते हैं कि सम ऑफ देम जैसे बोल रहे हैं कि आई सीन हस्बैंड्स कहते हैं कि मैंने उसको तो नौकरी छोड़ा दी, मैंने बोला रेस्ट ले लो, अभी तो नहीं करना है, बच्चा होने दो एंड ऑल. सो दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट, इनफैक्ट आई टेल देम नॉट टू डू दैट बिकॉज द पर्सन जो काम कर रही है बाहर जाके इफ शी इज़ एट होम एंड विद द नॉशिया एंड मॉर्निंग सिकनेस के साथ तो वो ज़्यादा एग्रेवेट होने लगता है बिकॉज आवर एंटायर अटेंशन गेट्स फोकस्ड ऑन दैट. एंड अदर एक्सट्रीम में होते हैं कि सडनली उनको लगता है नहीं नहीं अभी मुझे तो एक्सरसाइज करना चाहिए, प्रेगनेंसी है. सो दे स्टार्ट राइट फ्रॉम द टाइम दे मिस द पीरियड्स और डायग्नोज होता है. तो एक्सरसाइज जो आपने पहले कभी नहीं किया बिफोर प्रेगनेंसी वो प्लीज़ फर्स्ट 3 months में स्टार्ट मत करो. सो जो आप पहले कर रहे हो वो ही आप कंटिन्यू करो for 3.5 months. See again, Ekta here, this is a generalized thing. Everyone's body is different. So there are people जो कहेंगे maybe some of them may think वो तो जाके trekking भी करके आई है 3 months में. I have heard of people, I know people जो 4.5 months में they have run half marathons also.
Yes.
So वो सभी, this cannot be a generalized thing. It has to be tailor made for each patient. But generally, this is a dictum. Say first 3 months, don't start any new activity. Continue doing what you are doing, if provided there are no other complications. But go slow. That is what we tell them. Once you cross over 3.5 months, 4 months, then start your walking schedule and all that. And then 20 weeks के बाद तुम्हारे जो एंटीनेटल एक्सरसाइज वगैरह जो होते हैं वो भी स्टार्ट करो. सी रेस्ट हैज़ नथिंग और एक्सरसाइज से नॉर्मल डिलीवरी हो जाएगी ऐसा नहीं है. रेस्ट करने से नॉर्मल नहीं होगी ऐसा भी नहीं है. एक्सरसाइज इसलिए बिकॉज वी टेल देम टू डू इज बिकॉज ऑफ द हार्मोन्स योर मसल्स टेंड टू बिकम वेरी स्टिफ ड्यूरिंग प्रेगनेंसी. एक्सरसाइज से मसल स्ट्रेचिंग होके एंड देन यू गेट लॉट्स ऑफ पेन्स, बैक एक हो रहा है, यहाँ हो रहा है, तुम्हारा पोस्चर रॉन्ग हो जाता है, लॉर्डोसिस हो जाता है बिकॉज ऑफ द वेट ऑफ द स्टमक. सो एक्सरसाइज हेल्प्स इन करेक्टिंग ऑल दैट, रिमूविंग ये छोटे छोटे जो दर्द होता है वो सब भी रिमूव होता है. सो मसल स्टिफनेस कम हो जाता है. सो दोज थिंग्स आर टेकन केयर ऑफ बाय एक्सरसाइज. एंड ऑफ कोर्स यू फील गुड फैक्टर तो है ही with exercise and walking. So that adds to it.
Absolutely. So, again, Dr. Vijay, we're talking about the physical well-being of a lady during her pregnancy. आपने फर्स्ट 3 मंथ्स का फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर का बताया that we should be careful, but we should continue to do what our regular activities are. And then you get into that comfortable trimester, which is the 6th, 7th month. And then when the 8th month comes, we've heard about the 8th month itch, that if anything goes wrong, 8th month is the one you've got to be outrightly careful. And, there's so much of talk about the 8th month, and I don't know what the statistics say, but I've heard a lot about this, that is one month where a lot of people experience some or the other challenges. So hence they are asked to be outrightly careful. Medically or scientifically, how right is this? Is it a myth or it's a fact?
See, I think basically क्या होता है कि 8th month is a time when we see more cases of preterm deliveries, preterm labor pain start होता है. That is one thing. सेकेंड जो हम देखते हैं, जो भी सब लाइक ब्लड प्रेशर बढ़ने लगता है जो प्रेगनेंसी में, यूजुअली आफ्टर 28 वीक्स 30 वीक्स के बाद ही होने लगता है. सो मैक्सिमम चैलेंजेस आर सीन ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम. सो मे बी बेस्ड ऑन दैट उन लोगों ने ये किया है कि 8th month में तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम होगा. बट सरप्राइजिंगली आई हर्ड पीपल से 8th month में डिलीवरी नहीं होना चाहिए, 7th month में होना तो चलेगा. सो आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज द रैशनल बिहाइंड इट, बट that is maybe why they say that.
So yeah, the 8th month itch is something which is so commonly heard. As soon as you get in there, be careful, be cautious, stay away, don't go up and down the stairs, and so on and so forth.
Again, see, scientifically it is not proven that taking rest will prevent your. We don't know why the pain starts. We know how it starts, but what initiates it at term, अभी तक science doesn't know. So there are many gray areas जिसे हमको पता नहीं है. So because of that, ये सभी myths, they start flourishing क्योंकि no one knows exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
सिमिलरली स्लीप के लिए भी बहुत सारे मिथ्स हैं. सो दे कम एंड आस्क मी, मैडम मेरे से तो एक साइड में, लेफ्ट साइड में तो नहीं लेटा जाता है, नींद नहीं आती है. सो हू टोल्ड यू टू डू दैट? आई हैव नॉट टोल्ड यू. नहीं, ये लोग तो मुझे स्ट्रेट सोने ही नहीं देते. रात को मैं सोती तो मुझे उठा के दे मेक मी स्लीप ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड. नाउ लेफ्ट लैटरल पोजीशन का आइडिया इसीलिए दिया था, दैट वाज आफ्टर 32 वीक्स ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी, कि पेट इतना बड़ा हो जाता है ऑन द वेट ऑफ द फीटस एंड द फ्लूइड एंड ऑल, कि जो हमारा इंफीरियर वेन है, इंफीरियर वेना केवा, जो ब्लड नीचे से लाता है, वो प्रेस हो जाता है. वेन्स आर वेरी सॉफ्ट स्ट्रक्चर्स, नॉट लाइक आर्टरीज. सो प्रेशर से जो वीनस ड्रेनेज ऊपर आना चाहिए हार्ट तक नहीं आता है. सो ब्लड फ्लो टेंड्स टू रिड्यूस. So if you sleep on the left side, so the uterus tends to fall away from that. तो venous drainage होने लगता है. तो 3 महीने में, 4 महीने में, 5 months, 6-7 months, this doesn't help. पर तब से उन पे प्रेशर आ जाता है. And then again, even after 8 months, रात को we don't tell them कि whenever you're just lying down, दिन में कुछ देख रहे हो, कुछ पढ़ रहे हो, then try to sleep on your left side. But वो पकड़ के women are asked, not to sleep straight. Right, from the time they conceive, उनको बोलते हैं सीधा नहीं सोना है. As if
I also heard
going to come out, like that.
I've also heard that you should sleep on the left side because your liver is that side. So
liver is on the right.
Sorry, you usually should sleep on the left because the liver is on the right. So you will put pressure on the liver. So don't sleep on the right side also. So I don't know again how true, how
God,
or what
God
relevant.
has made our body in such a way that unless someone hits you with great force, कहीं पे भी कुछ pressure नहीं आता है. So even if the baby is there, baby पे pressure नहीं आता है. So uh, the creator, ये तो creator का एक marvel है human body. So,
Right. So, Dr. Vijay, now it leads me to another very important myth or fact. Many a times, as you progress in your pregnancy, there are different tests which are scheduled at the number of weeks that you are into the pregnancy. Now, let's say that, in some pregnancy, if you need to go through a regular scan for any underlying problem or whatever may be the reason. So a lot of people say that, oh, so many scans should not be done. It's very harmful for the fetus. And why, there are constant scannings being done. And now with the advancement where you actually have a fetus expert who, scans it to a very detail and guides you what needs to be done. Or for that matter, any kind of regular blood tests that are in these days, from say a triple marker blood test or an amniocentesis at 16th week for checking if there are any kind of genetical issues. How fearful should a lady be? Should a need arise to have an amniocentesis, or if there is some variation in the triple marker blood test?
see, firstly, sonography so far has been proven to be very safe because they are actually sound waves. There are no rays, there are no, it's not an X-ray or anything. So जो हम बोलते हैं, but it's at much higher frequency which is given to the child. Without sonography, we do not know कि बच्चा अंदर कैसा है, right? If suppose a patient comes 2 महीने में बताने आ रही है अंदर कैसा है, how do we know if you don't do a sonography? पहले ऐसे पूछते नहीं थे. पहले होता था अच्छा प्रेगनेंसी यू चेक एंड से इतना वीक्स है सो लेट अस वेट एंड सी. So that is one thing. We want the best, right? So if you want the best, you have to do this test to see. है ना? बच्चा, as I told you, बच्चा हमको गोरा चाहिए. It's sort of custom made बच्चा चाहिए. You don't want बच्चा with any abnormality. So that
Right.
abnormality the doctor doesn't make. Abnormality is already there, so we have to detect. So with the advance in science, इतने सारे tests आ गए हैं, so we have to offer it to the patients also कि क्या है. Now particularly if your age is more, 35 above होता है, तो genetic abnormalities के chances बढ़ते हैं. Because mutations होने के chances बढ़ते हैं as you age. Any cells mutation increases. So with this हमको जो पता चलता है ट्रिपल मार्कर टेस्ट है, एनटी टेस्ट है, एनटी एनबी, दैट इज डन एट अराउंड 11 to 13 वीक्स. उसमें कुछ आता है. सो वी हैव वन मोर अदर ब्लड टेस्ट, एनआईपीटी टेस्ट. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ स्विचिंग डायरेक्टली टू एमनियोसेंटेसिस वी गो फॉर एनआईपीटी. तो एनआईपीटी इज नियरली 99% एक्यूरेट. उसमें आता है देयर आर केसेस जब ट्रिपल मार्कर या क्वाड्रुपल टेस्ट इज एबनॉर्मल बट एनआईपीटी इज नॉर्मल, तो एमनियोसेंटेसिस अवॉइड हो जाता है. So amniocentesis we tend to avoid because it is an invasive thing. तो कुछ complication हो तो problem नहीं होना चाहिए. But there are cases where we have to do. Like I had a patient. Uh, she was thal minor, उसको पता नहीं था. She came with pregnancy and then I जो test किया उसमें लगा, so then we got her investigated. And incidentally her husband also turned out to be thal. And they had already conceived. So we had no other option but to go for amniocentesis. So in these cases we have to go for amniocentesis to find out. So
Alright.
fortunately baby was normal, so we continued with the pregnancy.
Right. So, Dr. Vijaya, I think we're going to pause it here today because there are a couple of other myths also around when you what age you get conceived and a lot of other things around that. So I think that we should discuss in a different conversation, because that I'm sure would have a lot more other things to be discussed about than just dietary myths or sleeping postures or exercising. So I think we're going to request you to be with us once again to talk about those kind of myths and those kind of issues perhaps during the pregnancy whether they actually exist, or everything around that. So I'm going to request you to be with us one more time to discuss that.
Definitely, definitely. See,
Yeah,
one more thing I would like to add, Ekta. Uh, with the changing social environment, so the challenges are also changing.
different.
They are different. So people from the previous generation advise them based on their experience because they had not seen these challenges. So their concern is best to avoid the challenges.
Yes.
But today's social need is different. So the challenges were always there, पहले भी ऐसा नहीं था, but the social environment was different. So it's the social environment which is bringing out the challenges this
And
time,
I think
as you said.
the awareness and the knowledge is also, increased multifold as compared to what it would have been in the earlier generation. So, people know about it, they're reading about it, maybe overreading also sometimes, which
That
might
is
lead
also
to
true.
these kind of challenges and
And there
questions.
was an acceptance in the previous generations. Something is wrong, they would accept it. Here we don't want that. We want the best. So
Correct.
that attitude is also bringing about so many changes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, thank you so much, Dr. Vijaya, for talking about all these myths and facts about the pregnancy related to dietary concerns, related to our physical well being, our sleeping postures, and about the sonography, which are done on a regular intervals to ensure that the baby, the fetus inside, is healthy and there are no abnormalities or anomalies. So, we will continue this conversation in our next episode with Dr. Vijaya, where we'll talk about other myths and facts. So, in case anybody has any questions around that, do share with us. And I know a lot of us here are already, mommies with kids or older kids or even grandkids for that matter. But I'm sure there would be someone in and around you who might need this guidance. So do share this conversation with them and do come back with your questions, which we can then address to Dr. Vijaya. So thank you, Dr. Vijaya, from all of us at Motherhood Club. It was lovely interacting with you.
Thank you once again.
Thank you and take care. All right, everyone, take care. See you very soon. Till then, stay safe and enjoy the weather. If it's raining in your part of the country, city, then make the most of it. Bye bye and have fun.